Today is 26th of October 2023 and I have come to my room, a rented room, for a seclusion. As I was reading a book and connecting with the masters, I came across some things which were very deeply touching, and especially some parts of this book which I was wanting to share with you all. So the book is called Kriya Yoga and the chapter is 3, which is called Change Your Magnetism. Before we begin, let us invoke for the blessings of our masters, Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Babaji Krishna, Jesus Christ, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswarji, Paramahansa Yoganandaji, saints and sages of all religions, humbly we bow today. Once again, the chapter is 3. It is called Change Your Magnetism. I will read out the chapter to you. The law of magnetism is the secret of success in all the areas of life. So here we are talking about magnetism being the cause of success in our lives. A strong positive magnetism attracts success, the right friends and associates, inspiration and creativity, even spiritual progress. Samadhi bliss, the highest spiritual state of divine union, is not achieved, but in Yogananda's words, drawn by the seeker's magnetic ardor. Deep meditation is not an excuse to reject the world or to become impractical. Immediately after Yogananda's first experience of Samadhi, his guru handed him a broom to sweep the porch and gently chided him. You must not get overdrunk with ecstasy. Much work yet remains for you in the world. Early in my Kriya Yoga practice, I learned that there doesn't need to be a conflict between meditation and being practical. The spiritual magnetism generated by regular meditation can even attract solutions to the most mundane problems. In 1983, Swami Kriyananda invited me to join his personal staff. Soon after, a crew of carpenters, plumbers, and electricians had finished a major expansion of his crystal hermitage home and the surrounding gardens. Now, Swami Kriyanandaji is a direct disciple of Paramahansa Yoganandaji, and he started his Ananda Sangha communities, and the Crystal Hermitage Home is the place where he was building one of these communities. The book is written by Nayaswami Devarshiji, and he is telling us about an incident, how he attracted a solution through his magnetism. The first job was to complete several projects that needed some finishing touches. I would often call expert electricians, carpenters, or plumbers for help. One unresolved problem was a strange issue with the water pipes. They were making a loud noise at a very consistent interval, over 100 times each hour, all day long. This happened only during daylight hours when Kriyanandaji was working in his office. The most experienced plumbers could not solve the mystery. It was so annoying that Kriyananda would regularly ask me when it would be fixed. Abandoned by the experts, I saw no hope of finding a solution. One morning, as I was practicing Kriya Yoga, diligently concentrating on my practices and not on my problems, an uplifted feeling began to come over me. Suddenly, out of nowhere, and uninvited, came inspiration. And within that inspiration came the solution to that difficult problem. Paramahansa Yoganandaji wrote in his autobiography, "Thoughts are universally and not individually rooted." We cannot create a thought, an idea, a piece of music, or a work of art. We can only tune into it and magnetically attract it to ourselves. All thoughts and ideas, both positive and negative. In an uplifted state of consciousness, we enter the realm of genuinely inspired ideas, creativity, solution to problems, and divine contact. Our magnetism, transformed by meditation. I feel this is the most important part of the line. Our magnetism, transformed by meditation, draws to us the right inspiration. The opposite is also true. When we are in a negative mood, we attract negative thoughts, pessimisms, and poor decisions, and we go into depressions. Thus, Lahiri Mahasaya counseled his disciples to solve all their problems through Kriya Yoga. As I discovered, even plumbing problems can be solved through Kriya Yoga. The science behind the electromagnet shows us that magnetism depends on a strong flow of energy. The greater the flow of energy through the wires of an electromagnet, the stronger the magnetic field. Similarly, though, on a Kriya Yoga increases the flow of energy in our deep energy spine, which yogis call the Shushumna. In science as well as in the spiritual life, the greater the flow of energy, the greater the magnetic field. Those with a strong spiritual magnetism have a strong energy flow through their inner spine. So, just like if we ran electricity through an iron nail, we wind the wire around the iron nail and we pass electricity through the wire, the iron nail will turn into a magnet. So similarly, our spine, when we pass energy through our spine, we turn our spine into a magnet and we increase or transform its magnetic field, so to say. And the kind of the nature of the magnetic field which is around the spine will attract the situations and things into our life. So that is how we can influence the universe to give us what we want, provided we are willing to work on changing and transforming the nature of the magnetism of our body. And there are a few factors which help in transforming that magnetism, which we will come to later. Right now we are discussing increasing the flow of energy in the spine. The science behind the electromagnet shows us that magnetism depends on a strong flow of energy. The greater the flow of energy through the wires of an electromagnet, the stronger is the magnetic field. Similarly, though, on a subtler level, Kriya Yoga increases the flow of energy in our deep energy spine, which yogis call the Shushumna Nadi. In science, as well as in the spiritual life, the greater the flow of energy, the greater is the magnetic field. Those with a strong spiritual magnetism have a strong energy flow through their inner spine. So, as we know that there are three major nadis in our body. One is the Shushumna Nadi, which is the central channel running through it's an astral channel which is running through our spine. And then there are the two channels, the Ida and the Pingala, and they both end up here at the spiritual eye. Similarly, by increasing the flow and quality of our inner magnetism, Kriya Yoga changes our life from inside out. I still recall a graphic demonstration from my early school years. I think we all must have done this experiment at one time or the other, I think class 8 or 9. Our science teacher gave us a piece of paper, some iron fillings, and a horseshoe shaped magnet. We scattered the fillings on top of the paper and we held the magnet under the paper. The iron fillings instantly formed into the shape of the otherwise invisible magnetic field. When we moved the magnet under the paper, the iron fillings also moved. If we tried to rearrange the filings with our fingers, they would always revert to the pattern of the underlying magnetism. How often do we try to rearrange the surface circumstances of our lives only to see them revert to old habitual patterns? Here then is the key to success. Change your underlying magnetism and you can change your life. So, increase the flow of energy. In addition to increasing the flow of energy, we must also improve the quality and direction of that flow. Kriya Yoga gives us the ability to control the inner energy, the quality, the direction, and the intensity. The right kind of outward effort to change our lives is necessary too. Meditation is not a call to inaction. People who act with energy, concentration, And an uplifted consciousness can also develop the magnetism that attracts success. And those who act in a scattered and unfocused manner or with negativity or low energy have only limited success. Without a change in magnetism, the iron fillings of their lives will usually revert to the older patterns. So we need to have a structure in our lives, organized structure. That is where these 5 a.m. routines and the morning routine, the bedtime routine, these do help. Magnetism can be strongly negative as well as positive and can thereby attract negative thoughts, people, and failure. In our experiment with inner magnetism, if our energy flow is an always positive, upwardly directed, divine energy, we will attract positive thoughts, inspiration, uplifted company, and success on all levels, practical as well as spiritual. We can also change our magnetism by placing ourselves in close proximity to a stronger positive magnet. This dimension of magnetism is discussed in chapter 14, The Need of a Guide. Now, when spiritual magnetism begins to develop, you will find yourself less influenced by other people's negativity or anxiety. A frequent question I hear from beginning meditators is, after my morning meditation, I felt so peaceful and calm. Then I go to office and suddenly I lose it. I'm much more receptive. My heart is open, and all the negativity and anger of people in the office affect me even more than before. What can I do? Deep meditation requires receptivity, but not passive receptivity. Passivity only weakens our magnetism. True meditation requires concentration, energy, and willpower, together with dynamic receptivity. Right receptivity comes naturally with time and practice. The right kind of receptivity requires the active involvement of our will. To enhance positive receptivity when you meditate, turn the palms of your hands up, then raise your awareness and your gaze. Feel that you are offering yourself upward and receiving divine light from above. Contrast this experience with the feeling that comes with the negative moods that come with the downward directed consciousness. You will see as your inner spiritual magnet becomes strong, the negative influence of the world's magnetism begins to lose power. A strong magnet always influences a weaker one. Many of our difficulties in dealing with stress, fear, anxiety, desire, and attachment are simply the natural effect of the world out there having a stronger magnetism than the world in here at our spiritual center. So many of our difficulties in dealing with stress are the natural effect of the world out there having a stronger effect of our inner world. So we need to make our inner world more powerful than the outer world. So our inner world will start to affect the outer world. Sri Yukteswar affirmed, the deeper the self realization of a man, the more he influences the whole universe by his subtle spiritual vibrations, and the less he himself is affected by the phenomenal flux. The spiritual power fully demonstrated in the saints is the real superpower. Would you like to have the real superpower? The spiritual power fully demonstrated in the saints is the real superpower. It is the divine birthright of each of us. The blessing of the age of energy in which we live is that we now have the spiritual tools to develop that power. This helps bring forth an affirmation which I recite quite often. It goes like this: though the winds of difficulty howl around me, I stand forever calmly at the center of my life's storm. So, my inner magnetism is so strong that even though the magnetic flux which may be taking place outside cannot enter into my inner world and influence me, this will help me to stay calm and peaceful and only have that willpower to let in the things which I want, the things which I need, not the things which are pushed towards me. That is, I will be having dynamic receptivity. I'll take your leave.